viewers, I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice & Dragons, we are going to be reviewing Kingdom Hearts Perilous Pursuit, published by the Boardgames. And we do not have a credited designer on this. Kemi Mandel did the original design of Fantastic Beasts, Perilous Pursuit, so I do assume she was involved in this when we looked into the rulebook, couldn't find the information anywhere. So if you are the designer and you would like to let us know, feel free to comment down below in the comment section. Now I'm going to toss it over to Julie, who will tell you more about the game itself.
So first of all, we would like to thank the op for the review copy. We always appreciate when you guys think of us, and we're happy to do it. We'd also like to remind our viewers, though, that though this is a review copy, our opinion will remain our own. So about the game.
Yes.
About the game. This is a cooperative game. It plays 2 to 5 players, and it is intended for ages 8 and above. And I believe it's about 45 minutes, right?
Yeah, about 45 minutes. I say the games that we played lasted about an hour, just because sometimes you can get, not the greatest rolls and you're trying to hang on and survive. So that's the way the game works, but really not that much longer than that 45-minute mark. Now, in this game, you're going to be taking on the roles of different Disney heroes and the heroes from Kingdom Hearts. You got Riku, Kairi, Sora, Donald Duck, and Goofy. I don't know why we don't have Mickey and Minnie in this one, but in any case, you're going to be trying to liberate different worlds from the Heartless, inspired by Disney, as well as, just the game, video game, mind you, Kingdom Hearts. So if you do like the theme, you're going to enjoy it. You'll be rolling dice to unlock different abilities, then setting those abilities and turning them against the Heartless as you try to liberate the entire world. Well, not the entire world, all the worlds. I think that sounds better. I think we've talked enough about the game. So what we're going to be doing, we did want to get a chance to play Fantastic Beasts just to compare it to this one. So we're not going to be setting it up on the table. What we're going to do is show you what's in the box, take a look at the components. There'll be a card popping up taking you back to our review and how to play of Fantastic Beasts Perilous Pursuit, if you'd like to get some context, as there are just a few minor differences between the two games. So on that note, Julie, we're going to
grab our drinks.
Grab our best friend. And we'll be back in a flash. Now we're going to take a quick look at the components for Kingdom Hearts Perilous Pursuit. Now we're going to change things up a little bit, and we'll start with the characters. The last thing that we'll take a look at is the rule book. So let's take a look at each one of the characters that you do get in the game. So here we've got Donald Duck. We got the area for his shields, his collect ability, protect ability, attack, distract, and his special ability, which is +1 health and +1 attack to anybody. Here we have Goofy, who has his protect, distract, attack, collect, and ability. And you'll notice that not all these levels are identical across all characters. Here we've got Sora. You can see his stats. Now, I have this out just so you can see how things work. As you're rolling dice and readying and then setting abilities, you've got these different components that fit into these dual layer player boards. Also across the top is your health. So we also have Kairi and Riku. Now, these are the 5 characters that are available in Kingdom Hearts Perilous Pursuit. Now, here we have the different cards that you can draw via the collect action. So just so we can take a look at what some of them are. Do not roll the world dice, 1 reroll. After rolling, you may get 2 wilds, ignore a Heartless symbol, ×3 abilities, or do not roll for the world. So lots of really cool stuff that you can get that will help you unlock your different abilities and be able to save the worlds from the Heartless. Now, if you're wondering what goes in the shield, sorry, I dropped that. I got one of these over here, so that's where the shield tokens go. This is the tracker for the different worlds, and this little clip here is what goes at the top of your player board. Now, here are the different dice. This is the black die, which you'll always roll for the world, that has the Heartless symbol. The blue dice each have one of each of the other symbols and a wild. So you notice there are 5 different symbols and then the wild symbol. Here we've got just the different worlds, which we'll take a look at quickly. So Twilight Town, level 1. Traverse Town, level 1, they're all double-sided. So as you can see, here's what you got. Disney Islands, Beast Castle. You can see at the top the different world dice, what happens when you get different die symbols, and how they can negatively affect your players. Also, this symbol here this space here tells you what happens when you defeat the world. As you can see, you've got a lot of different worlds, which adds a nice bit of variety since they are all double-sided. Now, I don't want to go through all of them. You want to keep this moving. So each of your characters has a pack of items, everything that they need for their characters. So we have one for each player, and I removed Sora's because I have his stuff already in front of us. So as you can see, I've got 4 of them right here. There was a total of 5. And then lastly, we're going to take a look at the rule book. So it's fairly straightforward, not that long, very easy to understand. We linked the how to play early in the video. We're going to link it at the end again. This is for Fantastic Beasts, the original version of the game. There are only very minor differences. Now, there isn't really a quick FAQ or anything, but as the rulebook's so small, it's easy to reference. So there you have it. We've taken a look at everything that's in the box for Talisman Perilous Pursuit. Now keep it right here as Julie and I will be coming back at you with a review of the game. So Julie, what did you think of Kingdom Hearts Perilous Pursuit?
Well, let's start off by saying, I mean, you talked about it in the intro. We wanted to compare it to Fantastic Beasts. It is because when we were playing it, we figured it was fairly similar, and we hadn't played Fantastic Beasts in a while. So we played it again.
It's been, about 2 years since Fantastic Beasts got to the table?
So it is definitely very similar. There are a couple of differences. Do you want to go ahead and...
Yeah, so the main difference is that you can play 5 players, whereas Fantastic Beasts is 4 players. Each character also has their own asymmetric special ability. And the big difference is when you free a world, you have to roll the black dice. What you're going to be doing is unsetting a specific ability as well as their ready token. Whereas in Fantastic Beasts, you unset all of your abilities as well as a ready token, meaning that it takes you just a little bit longer to get going again.
Yeah, so I definitely like those new abilities. They're all different per character, and I really enjoyed having them. I thought that made it a little bit more fun, a little different. You don't have that in Fantastic Beasts. For that and the fact that, as you said, you unset all your abilities, I thought that Fantastic Beasts is actually a little harder, so this is a little easier. Now, Fantastic Beasts, we had played with I think we had played with like a 9-year-old.
Yeah, this is for ages 8 and above.
And a non-gamer 9-year-old, as in somebody who doesn't have any experience with games. And he had found it fairly straightforward. So I think this would be even more so in this case and easier to play. So, that's an advantage when you're looking for a family-friendly game. That being said... It is, again, a dice rolling game. So, normally the dice are fairly kind to me. When we were playing this, they were not very kind to me.
Well, they were kind on one character and very unkind on the other character.
Poor Goofy couldn't get anything going, which is a little frustrating when they're, and I was rolling really well when I was rolling for...
Kairi.
No, but I was going to say the villains kept...
they kept doing lots of damage.
It's like, yeah, great. I couldn't roll that when I was trying to roll something for myself. What I would say is that, if you're looking for a 5-player game versus a 4-player game, if you're a family of 5, definite advantage. That being said, I think that, even though I do enjoy the added ability, I still think I prefer the IP for Fantastic Beasts, and I think if I was going to keep one of the two, I'd probably go for Fantastic Beasts instead of this one. Plus the fact that it's a little harder for us. Maybe I'll feel different when the little guy is actually playing games. I'm just still hopeful that at this point he'll be exposed young enough that by the time he gets other stuff, he won't care if it's a little bit more difficult.
Well, I did expose him to a game today, and he really wanted to play, but it was just a little bit higher than his level of understanding. I brought it in from overseas. Overseas? It's a Thomas the Tank Engine game. He loves Thomas. We looked at the cards, but just wasn't quite there yet. Although, the funny thing is, I think he'd be able to play this before the Thomas game because he loves to roll dice, and putting things in the right spot with the symbols is something that he could definitely do. We probably have to guide him to make the right strategic decisions, but I don't think he's too far off in order before he'd be able to help us with this one. So I'm going to agree with a lot of what Julie said. However, I think I'm going to start disagreeing with her in terms of which one I would keep. I'd actually would let Fantastic Beasts go. After playing the game, I do think it's harder, but thinking about where this type of game fits in the collection, I would rather have a 5-player game because it lets more people play. And the fact that it's a little bit easier, I think just means that it's going to fit that space a little bit better for that fun family game that you can take out with anybody. That being said, I do agree with Julie. I much prefer the theme of Fantastic Beasts. I don't know why I'm having troubles with my THs today, but this one has a lot of nice advantages to it. So I think family-wise, if you're looking to pick up one or the other, this is the way to go. I also like the asymmetric special abilities. It means each character feels a little different, whereas when you're playing Fantastic Beasts, they all really feel the same. It's just how difficult is it going to be to ready their abilities, which you also have in this. So you do have a few extra layers. Now, I would have liked to see a little bit more iteration on the game than what we got from Fantastic Beasts. The op has typically done a great job, especially with the Rising series. We're not a big fan of Dark Side Rising, the Star Wars one, because much like Kingdom Hearts, it feels like it's just like almost a full re-theme. Now this is a little different as they added the player and then changed the setting rules. But when you get into Death Eaters Rising, the Batman Who Laughs Rising, there are some big differences, and specifically in Death Eaters with how you have to take on Voldemort, completely thematic. Also the amount of different characters you get in the game that you can play as, so I thought that was pretty cool. The Batman Who Laughs is constantly pushing you towards the end game, addressing the concern that the Rising games can take too long. So this doesn't have that level of iteration, which is definitely a disappointment, but it's still a fun dice game. If you don't like dice games, stay away from this. There's definitely a high level of randomness in the game. This one also has the different starting points based on the player counts for the Heartless, the different worlds. That's something that you did not get in Fantastic Beasts. It had just one setting. So I like this one. I think it's good, but I don't think you necessarily need to have Fantastic Beasts and Kingdom Hearts Perilous Pursuit in your collection. I think you're good with one or the other. Depending on what you're looking for, you'll know which way to go. If it's about the IP, go with Fantastic Beasts. If it's maybe an easier to play family game with more players, go with Kingdom Hearts. And I think that's really all I have to say about this one. We enjoyed the original. We enjoy this one, but would have liked to see just a little bit more.
So since Jason's on a roll, why don't you give your rating first?
Well, I originally was going to give this a little bit of a lower rating, but after going back to play Fantastic Beasts, seeing how it's iterated and the fact that it's at 5 players, I'm going to give this a 7. It's a solid game, and this is 7 as a easy-to-play family game. In terms of what we're going to take on a regular basis, it would rate a little bit lower, but it does exactly what it wanted to do better than the original version of the game. So I'm kind of bumping it up 0.5. I was originally going 6.5. I'm going 7 because it's just got a nice little extra added touch to it.
So it's same thing for me. So it's a 7 based on what it is and what it's trying to be. I definitely think it's a great family game that's lots of fun. And I like the fact that, it's a 5-player game. There aren't that many of them. A lot of games are, 4-player. So I think that adds an advantage. So, I mean, it's fun, easy to play. It's relatively quick, and that's a definite bonus. We've talked about it a lot. We know how busy families are. So you don't want necessarily a 3-hour game. So this is a nice, very approachable game. So that's what I have to say about it.
Also, very easy to set up, and if you don't mind the video game artwork, because it's taken from a video game, you're going to enjoy this. We didn't really comment on it because, much like Fantastic Beasts, it's just stills from the IP property. So on that note, Julie, we need to remind everyone to
like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when we have new content for you.
Take a look down below in the video description. You'll find links to all of our social media feeds, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you'd like to see some pictures of Julie and I playing this one and Fantastic Beasts Perilous Pursuit, you can find those on those feeds. Also down there is a link to multizone.ca, a great Canadian game store. Click that link, you'll get 10% off your next purchase, and it's a great way to support the channel, as a portion of that purchase will be returned to us. And then popping up in front of us are going to be links to some of our previously released videos. In front of me will be our most recent release. In front of Julie, it's already popped up once, we're going to pop it up again. It will be our review and how to play a Fantastic Beasts Perilous Pursuit. On that note, we now need to
grab our drink.
grab our best friend.
And we're going to
Remind everyone to keep playing games.